for your players, and then of course you'll be able to have the best to represent us, not in the Olympic. Not when we get down to the Olympic, at the end of the day we'll come back empty-handed. We want to show prowess. We want to show that yes, we're one of the best when it has to do with volleyball, and I think for me this vision is spot on. Spot on,
I must say, and let's hope that it continues. Apart from court volleyball, let's look at what's happening latest from beach volleyball, where Kada Kings and the Nigerian Customs are currently topping the log following the conclusion of the 2024 National Beach Volleyball Star Tour Phase 1 in Ibadan. Beach volleyball not very popular, but yes, we can still see some teams emerge champions. Kada Kings especially won all 6 of their matches, while Nigerian Customs Services recorded 5 wins, unbeaten in the men's and women's category respectively at the championship in Ibadan.
Yeah, for me, I think it's a good one. Talking about beach volleyball, has not been given that much attention in the country. But I think, those who are the aim of affairs in organizing this one are still making sure that they bring the sport, to spotlight, to make sure that, people, understand what beach volleyball is and tend to embrace it, as a sport down here in Nigeria. So for me, it's been a very good outing for the likes of Kada Queens, and we look forward to see, how far they'll be able to go this time. Impressive start for them, and let's see how far they will go this time.
Let's hope that this beach volleyball championship will throw up some national team players that should be participating in various African championships expected in 2025 and 2026. Now let's go to tennis, and in tennis the China Open is into the semi-final. Coco Gauff is through to that semi-final for a second consecutive year after coming from behind to beat Ilya Yastrzemski. The first seed Coco Gauff lost the first set and the quarterfinal, but fought back to winning 2-6, 6-2, 6-2.
Yeah, for me it was a little bit of a difficult encounter for Coco Gauff, losing the first set, but was able to bounce back. I think for me it's been a struggling year for Coco Gauff, taking a look at what she did last season. But this season she's really struggling. In fact, she's been ranked number 6 in WTA ranking, not the kind of position you expect Coco Gauff. A lady who is very young, looking very much energetic, of course, to be able to compete, but she seemed not to, of course, get that level of performance that she desires. And for me, I think she should step up her game. And getting down to the semi-final of this one, I think is a good one. We'll look forward to see what comes up for her this time. She'll be facing Paula Badoza, and I think that will be another strong opponent for her. Can she get past her? I think that's the big question at this point in time. But for me, I really expect a lot, from Coco Gauff, taking a look at how she was also out in the 3rd round in the Paris Olympic game, not being able to defend the US Open she won last time. Not a very good season, but we hope that she can be able to use some of these WTA's tournaments, to pick up some points before the season comes to an end.
Paula Badoza, she's won about 28 matches out of 35 so far this season, and it looks like she's competing very strongly.
Yeah, she's competing very strongly. That's why I say it's going to be a very tall mountain, a difficult road it will be for the likes of Coco Gauff, to get past her in this particular one. We'll just see what the encounter will look like. I think Coco Gauff is prepared. Don't forget, before this one, she had a change of coach, and I think this new coach has been able, of course, to be able to unleash some tactics for her. And that's why we're seeing her maybe flying at this point in time. So let's just see what comes up against Paula Badoza. But I know it's going to be a very, very tight encounter.
Very tight encounter between Coco Gauff and Paula Badoza, right now ranked number 19 in world tennis for female. Should be able to give Coco Gauff some kind of trouble. She's ranked 4th seed at this tournament in China, and having been to the semi-final twice, she knows how to get out there. Coco Gauff 6th in the world now, and coming up against number 19. It looks like the odds will be in favor of Coco Gauff and not Paula Badoza. But like I said, is showing some kind of quality at this year's China Open. Coco Gauff lost out at the last Grand Slam of the year. Everybody thought she could get it, but she didn't. And now, do you think she can rake in more points from this China Open that can at least give her 500 points in the back?
Yes, for me, I think she can. When you take a look at the fact that this particular tournament She has played this tournament before, and she has also got into this stage as well. So the experience is there on this court, and I believe with this, she's probably going to go far. Her next hurdle now will be against Paula Badoza, which I think will be a difficult road for her. But if she definitely get past Paula Badoza, I tell you, she will be looking forward to get all the points for herself this time. There are other WTA tournaments that she could possibly use to grab point before the season comes to an end. Like I mentioned, hasn't really been the rosy season for Coco Gauff. A lady who was ranked, I think, 4th in the WTA ranking has now been dropped to 6th position. So for me, I think she should try as much as she can to see how to grab the necessary points available to make sure she improves in her ranking.
Time for us to take a break. When we return from the break, we'll look at more exciting stories coming from the world of football, the Nigerian Football League, and of course the proposed Nigeria Football Federation annual general meeting coming up in Asaba, Delta State. Across in Europe, Chelsea have made a statement of intent at the Conference League, and not forgetting some interesting results that came through last night as well in the Europa League. When we return from the break, we'll serve you with all of the details. Stay with us.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes.
Welcome back. Sports Talk here on Atlantic Television Network, and on this edition program, I still have Kingsley with me, and together we'll bring you up to speed with the latest happening around the world of sports. Let's now get to football, and starting from the home front, technical advisor of Bayelsa Queens, Bonda White, has stated his dream and that of his technical crew and players to win the Nigerian Women League. Bayelsa United have done it before. Can they do it again this time around, Kingsley?
Yes, I think they can. Under White Ogbonna, I think for me, he's a very experienced manager when it has to do with the Nigerian Women Football League. Last season, he was with Rivers Angels. Couldn't pull up a very impressive, performance with them. They didn't finish in a very, very impressive position. But I think he has to leave due to a better offer, from Bayelsa Queens, this time. And of course, Bayelsa Queens, just like you mentioned, they're one of the best in the Nigerian Women Football League. So being with such team and with his tactical prowess, I think it's going to be an impressive season for them. I will just look forward to see what other teams will be coming up. Teams like Niger Ratus, teams like Edo Queens, Rivers Angels as well. We'll see the level of competition that will be coming from them. And then we'll see if White Ogbonna, of course, will be able to deliver the title for Bayelsa Queens this season.
Well, looking at Bayelsa Queens and their preparation for the next season, the Obaseke Wives Cup competition is preseason game is here. Do you think they can use that as a statement of intent?
I think for me that should be, where they should, start from at this point. Looking forward to win the league, it means you must start from somewhere, and I think this is where Coach White Bona, should actually use to experiment the strengths of his players and the strengths of his team, going before heading down to the league at this point in time. So for me, the Obasiki tournament, has been on, for some time now, and I think this is another opportunity where the teams, of course, they also have to, get themselves prepared. It's going to be a little bit tough. This time, Bayelsa Queens will be coming up, Rivers Angels, Edo Queens as well. So we'll just see who will get it this time. But for me, I think it should be a preparatory tournament for all the teams that will be participating in the Nigerian Women Football League to see how they can get something out from there. And I think for me, it's also one of the tournament that White Ogbonna to use, to experiment things, as the new manager of Bayelsa Queens.
Well, the Women League getting ready to get underway here for 2024-2025 football season in Nigeria. First, they have to go through preseason and early preparations. And I wish Bayelsa Queens the very best of luck. Now, let's see what's happening in the main category, the Nigeria Premier Football League. We had a rescheduled game yesterday, and Rangers International bounced back from the 0-1 defeat at Remo to beat Bayelsa United by 1-0. Bayelsa United did not seem to travel well.
Yeah, it's been a very poor start for them under the former Flying Eagles coach, talking about Ladan Boso. I think Ladan Boso coming up for Bayelsa United would have been a very huge one. But if you take a look at it, a poor start for Bayelsa United. They've not won any game. They've played 4 games. They've not been able to, pick up all 3 points in those 4 games. For me, a very poor start for them. Maybe Ladan Boso is still trying to see how to gel the team with the inclusion of some other new players. He's still trying to see how to get the chemistry, at this point in time. I think it's not only Bayelsa United. We also see the teams. We also see teams like Bender Insurance. They struggle. I think they just grabbed their, 3 points, this midweek. Akwa United are also one side that have not won any game this season. They've played 4 games, have not been able to win any. So for me, a struggling start for some of these teams, and not a very good, especially for teams like Akwa United and also Bayelsa United. We expect them to hit the ground running, but the reverse, of course, is the case at this point in time. But for Enugu Rangers, 2 wins in 4 games, impressive start if you ask me. For Fidelis Lechuku, he drew against the Economy Warriors in the first encounter. Then they lost to Remo Stars, but were able to beat Ikorodu City away from home, and coming down at home, of course, to beat Bayelsa United. I think for me is a good one for them. That's to show you that the fact that they can still, challenge for the or defend the title they won last time, despite the awful outing we saw in the CAF Champions League. I think they are back now in the Nigerian Premier Football League. We'll see what Fidelis Lechuku will do. We understand the competitive nature of the Nigerian Premier Football League. We saw the likes of Remo Stars coach Ugumo Dede putting up some impressive performance. Talk about Finidi George as well. So we'll see what the competition in the Nigerian Premier Football League will bring down to the table at this point. But for me, good one for Fidelis Lechuku. I think they still stand in that strong position of defending the title they won last season.
Well, let's now leave local scene and look at what's happening on the international scene for football. And the Nigerian women under-17 national team, popularly called the Flamingos, only yesterday arrived at their camp in Santo Domingo, that's in the Dominican Republic, for a 2 intensive camping ahead of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup coming up out there from I think on the 16th of October to the 3rd of November in Colombia. Kingsley, the Flamingos, no doubt, have made an impact in this competition in the past. 2 weeks of intensive camp just before their first World Cup match for 2024.
Is it enough for me? Maybe it's actually enough. I think the girls, of course, they've been together for some time, so probably they might have that level of chemistry or synergy at this point. They've been in this competition in several occasions, and for me, I just want them this time to get past the quarterfinal, because if you take a look at their outing in 2022, their outing in 2010, 2012, we've always seen them not being able to get down to the semi-final or probably the final. The best they have done, I think, is the quarterfinal stage. So this time we should be looking forward to see them maybe getting down to the finals. Last time we saw them beating the United States of America, and that was a very huge one for them, a record, you will say. So we expect them, of course, to be able to pull through this time. Bankole Owulokere is the coach of the side, and we're expecting this time around to be able to bring up his tactical prowess to see how the guests, can probably get something out of this particular one. They will be facing teams like, Ecuador, I think Venezuela thereabouts. So for me, it's a little bit it's going to be a little bit competitive for them in the group stage. But I hope that they were able to get the best in this particular one.
Well, Nigerian female national under 20 team up against their counterparts on the 17 team up against their counterparts from the Dominican Republic, host nation. Do you think they can go past the host nation in the very first game?
Of course, anything can happen. It's a game of football. If you come up with your best, definitely you can beat the host nation. Being the host nation doesn't mean they have what it takes, to beat any team. I think the team can be able to get past, the Dominican Republic in this particular one.
Well, I wish them the very best. 2 weeks of preparation and thereafter enter into competition. Last time we saw them at the World Cup, they lost via penalties in the quarterfinals. We just hope that they will have taken care of these penalties because somehow it's just a lottery of luck.
Yeah, so I think for me, when you take a look at penalty, sometimes it has to do with luck. It also has to do with experience. I think for me, it was not a very good outing for them last time. Like I mentioned, they had a very impressive performance on the group stage. Last time they participated, they even got past the United States of America. But getting past the quarterfinal stage was a very huge task for them. But I think this time, we talk about luck. We hope that it favors them. Also, like I mentioned, they have the experience. So we hope that they'll be able to put all of this together and see how far they will go this time in the competition.
Well, let's see what is happening now. We have the CHAN competition coming up in this month of October, and they expected that the Super Eagles interim coach Austin Eguavoen will play some kind of supervisory role for this competition, because we are already being told that Fidelis Ilechukwu and Daniel Modede will be in charge of this one.
Yeah, a good one at this point. Fidelis Ilechukwu, Daniel Ogumodede, the coach of Enugu Rangers and Remo Stars. I think that was March day 3. We saw them clash. Having that little bit of clash. Fidelis Ilechukwu was not happy with Daniel Ogumodede, not having tennis players to have a fair play, on the pitch and all of that. But we hope that all of this, of course, will be resolved so that they can be able to work together this time, to be able to lead the CHAN team this time. Thank God, Austin Eguavoen will be there to supervise everything. I will hope that they will bring back that love, their friends. We don't expect them, of course, to be enemies, at this point in time. Now they are now working for the national team. So we hope them to bring their A game and as well have to put up that, friendship once again to make sure they achieve success.
Austin Eguavoen definitely should be able to broker truths between these two coaches. Football is a game of passion, and sometimes it boils over. And for the two of them to be in charge of the CHAN team, of course, CHAN team, of course, is the home base side of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. They should be properly supervised by Austin Eguavoen, the head coach of the Super Eagles right now. Now let's look at the biggest gathering of football administrators here in Nigeria. The NFF General Assembly meeting takes place today in Delta State, Asaba to be specific, and it's a conglomeration of members of the board of Nigerian Football Federation, club chairmen and their secretaries, the coaches, and of course representatives of the referees as well. Some other high stakeholders in football will be attending this Nigerian Football Federation annual general meeting today in Asaba. Kesley, football administration, and of course, is rules, policies must emanate from this annual general assembly.
Yes, I think there's a lot, of course, to look at. When you take a look at the nature of football down here in Nigeria, right from the grassroots level down to the top, where we have the Nigerian Premier Football League. I think a lot has to be looked into, especially when you take a look at how our league is being run from the nationwide league down to the Nigerian National League, that's the NNL, down to the Nigerian Premier Football League. And if you take a look at it, there was this, must win at home syndrome. But I think with the help of Benga Elegbeleye, they've been able to curb that issue a bit. And the issue of referees not having the best of facilities, to be able to officiate matches. Now, we heard that there's a device, some of the referees have been used. So if you take a look at all of this, I think there are a lot of things, to discuss when it has to do with football administration and the growth of football in the country. We'll be talking about, the introduction of video assistant referee in the Nigerian Premier Football League, because CAF has given the mandate that all leagues in Africa should have, the video assistant referee, or else you might not be able to participate in CAF competitions. And I think it's a major thing, of course, to discuss at this point in time. How can they introduce the video assistant referee in the Nigerian Premier Football League? That should be a major discourse, apart from any other things, of course, they'll be looking forward to at this point.
The Nigerian Football Federation top administrators and officials must be up to standard with the latest happening around the world of football. The video assistant referee yet to be introduced to football here in Nigeria. We've seen video assistant referee in some African countries. Why not Nigeria?
That's the big question. I think at this point in time, we should be looking forward to introduce it. The league is now on TV. We now have the league on streaming sites. Some of the matches are being streamed. Some of the matches are now on TV. So why not introduce the video assistant referee device? So for me, I think it should be one of the major things they should look up for. Yes, we understand the Nigerian Football Federation President Alhaji Musa Ekuso has come up to say that yes, there will be introduction of the VAR, but I think they have to do it in time to make sure that, of course, they take the league to another standard. Because if you have the video assistant referee in your league, it gives the league a new shape. People will understand that we're serious down here when it has to do with football. So whatever it will take them to introduce the video assistant referee technology, I think they should try as much as they can to make sure they do their best to get it.
Well, Snippets has it that the position of the General Secretary of the Nigerian Football Federation will be on showcase in this meeting, because Sanusi has been around for a very long time. Since 2015, he has been Secretary General of the Federation. And people believe that there could be plans to elongate his tenure. Can we have the reign of Sanusi come to an end?
I think for me, it's another issue, of course, to look at. He has been there since the time of Amaju Mervyn Pinnick, and now Ibrahim Gusso is now the man in charge, and he's still the General Secretary. 9 years, if we take a look at between 2015 and now, if you take a look at it, about 9 years plus. And I think for me, there should be need, to at least have another person down there. But if they see that Hidman has done so well for them to elongate his tenure, we'll look forward to see what, of course, the sport administrators who will be there will decide.
What position of the General Secretary of the Nigerian Football Federation will be discussed? Like we said, it's been there for 9 years, and there's no provision for this. It has to be expressed at this meeting. Well, quickly now go to Europe, and talking about Europe, we had some matches that were played last night in the Europa League and the Europa Conference League. Kingsley, Tottenham Hotspur went away and conquered.
Yeah, they went away and conquered after not really having an impressive start, this time in the Premier League. But
they were in Hungary against Ferencváros.
Yes.
They beat them by 2-1.
2-1, and for me, I think it's a good one for Tottenham Hotspur. We'll just look forward to see, how far they'll be able to go this time, in the continent. Angel Postecoglou has a lot to do with this Tottenham Hotspur side. I think he has not been able to, put them on the right track since the season got started. But you see, still early days. Maybe as the season goes by, he'll be able to, of course, put Tottenham Hotspur right. But I think for me, it was a good outing in the Europa League last night. Lazio
beat Nice by 4-1. That is a good way to play in front of your home fans.
Good way, of course, to play in front of your home fans. I actually monitored that game at some point. Nice, came up with a very impressive, energy, but couldn't hold their own in that one. And last year, of course, had the best in that one. 4-1. I think for me, it's a good one as well for Lazio.
Real Sociedad did not do well before their home fans because they lost in the encounter. What could be happening? Real Sociedad, one of the top teams in the Spanish league, losing at home to Anderlecht of Belgium.
I think for me it's a troubling moment at this point in time, for Real Sociedad. We'll understand that if we take a look at it last season, they were one of the side in the Spanish La Liga that showed much progress, but all of a sudden, we've not seen that spark, this time, from them this season. I think a lot has to be done down there. They should have probably gotten that victory yesterday, but, had to drop in terms of performance. It was really an unfortunate outing for them.
Besiktas lost at home, and that's not too good. Eintracht Frankfurt travel from Germany to beat them in Turkey. I mean, the big match we saw last night, or one of the biggest matches we saw last night, involving Manchester United against FC Porto. Porto, former winners of this competition, playing in front of their home fans. Were down by 2 goals, but Manchester United found a way to come back, and it was equalized 2-2. And of course, in Nigeria, Mourinho helped them to score the 3rd goal. So Porto was leading to the 9 minutes of that encounter. In fact, at that time, before we saw Harry Maguire, showed why he was one-time captain of Manchester United.
Savior of Manchester United last night, Harry Maguire, one man who has been heavily criticized in the past. Yes, but yesterday he was the hero for Manchester United, helping them to salvage a point in that scale. It's been so bad for Manchester United, especially since the season got started. They've had a huge, struggle from what we've seen so far. Last weekend, it was against them. It was a game against Tottenham Hotspur, and we saw how they also put up a very disappointing performance as well. What could be the problem? I think Erik ten Hag should, step up his game. It's been 3 seasons now at Manchester United.
No, something interesting about that one of the fixture, we saw Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
He had a red card in the Premier League fixture. It was rescinded. Then in this next game, which is a consecutive game now, he's gotten another red card in this fixture out there. Last night, he was shown a straight red.
It's for the last 2 games, it's not been a very rosy one for Bruno Fernandes. If you take a look at it, you won't really blame the young man too much. When you take a look at some of these issues, the man has been the one who has been shouldering most of the burden of Manchester United, especially when some of the players are not living up to expectation. But we saw that tackle yesterday, of course, was not a good one. And if you take a look at it, that red card was deserving for Bruno Fernandes. But really was unfortunate one for Bruno Fernandes, being shown red cards, in the last 2 games of Manchester United. And for me, I also contributed to the poor pattern of play of Manchester United since the season got started. Erik ten Hag, like I mentioned, should be able to step up his game. A lot of criticism on him. This is his 3rd season in the team, and he has not been able to review his identity down there at Manchester United. So for me, I think a lot has to be done at Manchester United.
Across to the lowest competition in Europe right now, European Conference League, Genk was beaten thoroughly by Chelsea last night, 4-2. It ended. We've run out of time, so we really can't look at that fixture anymore. But Gugu was one of the top goal scorers in that. One of the top scorers, all of the scorers in that fixture. Chelsea quickly, Kingsley. Chelsea starting with a win in the Europa Conference League. This is one competition they need to win as well.
Yeah, impressive stats. They've been unbeaten their last 5 games now. 17 goals, just considered just 4 goals so far this season. Impressive one for Enzo Maresca, and I'm just looking if they're really back to their best.
A lot of matches were played last night. We'll bring you results of those matches and, of course, the snippets, tidbits of what happened in some of the fixtures on our program Sports Extraordinary, coming up at 6 p.m. Nigerian time. Until then, remember, peace and unity are clearly pathways to progress. Always enjoy here on Atlantic Television Network.